Hi there, I'm Sanali Shaw, and you're watching me on YouTube and Facebook Live, and also in the group Love Virus. I welcome you to our weekly table talk show. We usually do it on a Saturday, but now we are planning to move it on Tuesday or Wednesday or wherever you are in different parts of the world because timing is different. My here is Tuesday morning and it's Monday evening for Gary in Canada. Anyways, today we are going to talk about social and environmental impact of fast fashion or the fashion industry. Fast fashion is a very lucrative business model adopted by the fashion industries and fashion brands. And the idea of fast fashion is a mass production of highly designed textiles and clothes. And when I say uh, mass production means the mass producing or it means economies of scale via mass production. And those mass producing industries, they don't use clean energy. They rely on hydrocarbons and petroleum oils, and they consume it in millions of tons every day across the world, and they spit it out in the environment. The carbon emission is polluting the environment. Along with polluting the environment, those fashion brands want to achieve cost efficiency, and for this purpose, they have installed various various industries, various manufacturing plants in the third world countries, where they employ child labor, slave labor, or and poor working conditions in those countries. And secondly, it is the ingredient used, the main material they use is microplastic, nylon, and polyester. And those both of these material, nylon and polyester, is very common among among the products of fashions, among the textiles of fashion brands or fashion products or whatever you call it. And they take hundreds of years to decompose and become part of nature. And thirdly, water pollution. And it is interesting for you to know that approximately 700 gallons of water is required to manufacture one cotton shirt, and around about 2,000 gallons of water is required to to manufacture one jeans. And we are talking about the mass production. It means millions of cotton shirts, jeans, and other clothes are being produced every day. And according to a study, 70% of the textile sold in the market, it becomes 70% of the textile become dumped into the environment, is dumped into the environment. And that's how fashion industry or fast fashion trends is impacting the environment. Along uh, with these social and environmental impacts, it is also impacting us, our daily lives, about the trends, about uh, just like weight losing and skinny body, drugs, and many other things. We are going to discuss it in a table talk, and it's our table talk. Thank you guys for joining us. If you're watching me and hear some some comments here, okay, it's time to introduce to you to my guest. My first guest is Gary Mark. He has joined us from Alberta, Canada, and he is a phytoaromacologist. And my second guest is Jody Skelly. She has joined us from the US. Hey guys, how are you?
Doing beautiful. Monday in my part of the world, Tuesday in your part of the world, sun is shining.
Hmm.
Can't
I'm
ask
It's
for
doing
more.
great.
amazing. Yes. And we are three people from three different parts of the world. from the three different cultures, and but we have one thing in common, and which is impacting all of us is the fast fashion or the fashion trends or the fashion industry, whatever you call it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Gary, can you hear me fine?
Oh boy. You want me to start this one off? Okay, let me
Okay.
go into a little bit of background so you can see where I'm coming from in the fashion industry in many
Okay.
ways. One
Mhm,
off, I was a model many years ago. So in the modeling industry, understanding where
come
fashion
on.
is, the impact. Yeah, I've done lots of things, believe me. Okay.
Yeah.
And what I saw from the inside of the industry to what I'm seeing from the outside of the industry. But fashion
Mhm,
goes beyond just our clothing. Fashion
mhm,
also touches personal care industry, makeup, personal care products, this whole illusion of what the fashion industry has taught us, to
mhm,
look and prim and proper, be in the style, follow the clique, follow the group, listen to the influencer, the Kardashians of the world, and all of the stuff that goes along with this. But the one thing, like you said early, starting in this, is what is the environmental impact? Believe me, it's
mhm,
extremely large. Okay. And
mhm,
it's a shocking aspect of just how badly impacted our environment is, just from the clothing we wear to the
mhm,
products we're washing off of our face.
mhm,
Everything has come from or includes microplastics, includes oil from the oil industry, like many cosmetics, it's coming from the
mhm,
petrochemical industry. So the
mhm,
whole environmental impact of our fashion choice has a direct impact on the environment. And then we look at,
mhm,
trying to keep up with the Joneses, so to speak. Everybody's wanting to be like, let's be like this, let's be like that. And then we look at the runway shows and how it's distorted the human body into the sense of what we expect a woman to look like or what we expect the man to look like. So the whole impact is not just about how it's damaging the environment, but how it's damaging humankind. Like everybody's wearing the same jeans. You want ripped jeans? You
mhm,
want to spend $300 for ripped jeans? You know
mhm,
what? Give me
mhm.
your jeans. I've got a belt sander and I got a pair of scissors and I'll do it for free.
I'll repeat after you. Yes, indeed.
Oh my God.
You know,
It's,
and how parents are supporting their youngsters into buying into this fashion.
mhm,
I mean,
mhm,
where there is there individuality in fashion? I believe so,
mhm,
yes, when you find your own way that you wish to dry, as or dress as colorful as you wish it to be. But
mhm,
what we're seeing, or what we should see, or what I should see, is what is the impact of what I'm wearing. So if I wear
mhm,
something and I throw it away in 6 months because it's out of fashion, that doesn't make sense. If I look at choosing wisely my clothing so it's going to last me, I'm not looking at the style. I'm not looking at what the Joneses is wearing. I'm looking at what I want to feel comfortable in. So I choose wisely what I like, and I have it for years. In fact,
mhm,
it'll go to the point where it falls apart because where my good clothes now turned into my work clothes. And many people see me coming to a job and say, "My God, you dress so well for doing what you're doing." And I'm saying,
mhm,
"Well, I like to be I like the way I dress." So if my
mhm,
clothing has become a double purpose, it is not only about how I feel in my clothing, it's about also what my clothing is serving purpose of. So if my hands get dirty and I wipe it on my green pants, well, I
mhm.
created another style. It's like, there it goes. So,
Yes.
the whole aspect is, like you said, the environmental impact. How much
Mhm,
water is being used to create these fibers? How much
mhm,
environmental resources? And then,
mhm.
not only that, what are the chemicals in what you're wearing? As a
Yes.
skincare expert, I'm not going to say expert. Nobody's an expert.
Mhm,
Okay,
mhm,
understanding skin and skincare and the absorption rates and what's in these products. Their
mhm,
clothing, it's leaching chemicals. These chemicals are leaching into your skin, and
mhm,
thus comes the skincare problems. How many clients have I seen over 20 years that have problems with the skin on the back, acne conditions,
Mhm,
blocked pores, psoriasis, eczema, chafing,
mhm.
all of this that's being direct relation to what's being worn. The materials are not
Gary,
breathing, your skin is not breathing. So
Gary,
there's a
we
big
have to
impact.
a bit focus on the social impact of it.
Yeah,
Because when you talk about the social and these the mass producing industries, they have their manufacturing plants in the third world countries where they employ child labor and slave labor is one aspect. On the other
no,
hand, in their home countries, uh, there's the fashion industry, the trends, they have created a culture of skinny body, of drugs, using drugs to achieve it. And
yeah.
there are many other trends they have created. Uh, how would you describe it? Because I don't live in the Western world, but
How do I
you
describe it?
do, and hearing.
Garbage.
Yes,
It's pure garbage.
yes,
That's what
yeah,
it
it
is.
is garbage. We have to discuss
Okay.
the details of it.
The impact of seeing
Hmm.
what the manufacturing is doing and how it's being done, like we can take
Hmm.
fashion to a whole gamut, even to the
Hmm.
mask and how the mask is being made and being supplied around the world, the child labor, the filthy
Hmm.
conditions, the
Hmm.
materials being used, the chemicals being used that's affecting the waterways, affecting the earth because people are just throwing them off into the air. So there's a lot of things that we're touching here with fashion because they've turned even masks into a fashionable device. We'll make it look
Hmm. Yes.
pretty and put some sequins on it and some, colorations and all of this so that you can look pretty behind your mask. Okay.
Hmm.
But it still has this environmental impact. How much water is required? How much
Hmm.
processing is required? How much oil is being used through the processing to get this done? So the
What
whole
about the
environmental
packaging?
impact, and we say, well, we have
Hmm.
to have clothes. Well, of course, we used to live in forests. We had
Hmm.
clothes. Okay, we had
Hmm.
loincloths.
Hmm.
Some of us wore leaves. Some of us used other elements to keep ourselves covered so that we were facing the elements. In today's world,
Hmm.
it's not just about facing the elements, it's about being trying to be part of what the style is. Where
Hmm.
we're disconnected because
Hmm.
nobody really has a style. You're buying something because somebody else bought it and you're not looking at the impact of it. Okay,
Hmm.
what is the impact of those jeans being made? You mentioned how much water does it take to make one pair of jeans? How much
Two
chemicals?
2,000 gallons of water is required to manufacture one jeans, and 700 gallons of water is
2,000 gallons of water.
gallons.
That's
Yes,
crazy.
2,000. Yes, and 700 gallons of water is required to manufacture one cotton shirt. So we are talking about the millions of tons, millions of cotton shirts and
Yeah.
jeans are produced every day,
Yeah.
and the impact of it, and 70% of them, 70% of the sold clothes, sold textile is dumped into the environment.
Huh.
So annually, I'm talking about annually, 70% of it. So the
Well,
impact
I look
is
here's a
mhm,
plus. My hat
mhm,
is made
mhm,
from recycled clothing. So
mhm,
rather than it being thrown out, somebody has taken the initiative to take these materials and create something new with it.
mhm,
There's a sense of some sense of an eco responsibility in a sense that we're not
mhm,
allowing it to be thrown into the garbage. But
mhm,
that's not even one. That's like not even 0.00001%.
mhm,
Okay, in a world that's all about how do you look
mhm,
rather than
I live here in the States, and I have an 18-year-old son. And
mhm,
everything has to be name brand. Everything has to be, um, the big, huge corporations, Nike, for example.
Hmm.
Um,
mhm,
Here in the States, fashion is a big thing. We have an
mhm,
influx of plastic masks that are shields that are being
mhm,
advertised. And they're tinted, and it's like it's a big thing. And I see people around me wearing them, and I'm like, I, you know, it makes you take a step back and think, okay, what what did it take to make this mask?
Hmm.
mhm,
What was, what's behind it? You know that because you know there's a bunch of dumping off of toxins somewhere.
Yep.
It's like the Earth, Mother Earth, Gaia has become dumping grounds for toxic chemicals.
Oh,
Mhm.
that struck a nerve. Sorry.
Now there's one question that I would like to ask to both of you. Yeah, the question is that we all are different. We all have our own abilities, but the fashion industry, the promotion, the marketing campaigns, they have they have created a trend, a culture that that we should have a certain kind of body. We should look good if we have that kind of clothes. We should look if we follow this brand, or we are going to look good if we have the six packs or skinny body or tight hips or I don't know whatever you call it. How is it impacting us?
Oh my God.
Mhm,
Jody, you speak up on this because a lot of it impacts women and what we see and
mhm,
what's being shown and portrayed of women, and then I'll follow in afterwards. But I think I would really, really want to hear your opinion on this from a woman's perspective, because this is what needs
I
to be
can
heard.
give you various insights from what I've lived as a woman, what I've experienced in the different careers that I've been in. I was in the hairdressing industry for a very long time. Um, People's physical appearances, um, the more slender you are, the more in shape you are, it's like a profit business for the company. They promote you to look really good. You have to have um certain clothing. It has to be this color. It has to be, everything is customized.
Hmm.
The corporation doesn't pay for it,
mhm,
but they'll give you minimum wage or whatever they pay at the time, um and they will promote that. And then on the other
mhm,
hand, I was a dosing nurse at a
mhm,
methadone clinic. I would
Okay.
see I would see a lot of girls that came in. Initially, they started out with on this street of, okay, I'm overweight. I'm going to try some heroin to lose weight, because heroin essentially
mhm,
is an appetite suppressant.
mhm,
So
Yep.
here you have a girl that started out with one time doing, okay, I'm going to take this heroin, and you got her coming in 6 weeks later.
mhm.
Yeah, she's lost her weight,
But
but
she is addicted.
she's lost her soul. She's
Mhm,
addicted,
mhm,
and she now has become a slave to not only the heroin, which she's trying to beat, but
mhm,
the methadone that the
mhm,
corporation is making big money. If a heroin addict misses 3 days of dosing, they cut her dose by 3/4. So she's
mhm,
essentially sitting in the chair being monitored, going through withdrawal symptoms, all in the quest to
mhm,
lose weight.
mhm. What about with the with her body and the quest to lose weight? What about the families it is impacting? What about her parents? What about her siblings and friends? The social impact of it, because it's not just one person. When we talk about, I'm not going to talk about billions. It's if there are thousands of people in a state or in any state, it means it is impacting thousands of families. It
Hmm.
has impacted, it has devalued, or the best word is uh, what's the best? It has devalued the very structure of the society, the
You
social
know,
setup of the society.
I think that
Mhm,
there's this common theme that I'm
mhm,
like 50 years old right now. I'm past that stage. I just throw
mhm, mhm,
my sweatpants on and I go and I do my round of boxing. I have two sons that are in
mhm,
martial arts. One runs a homeless shelter, and he won the heavyweight division in Matoy 2 years ago.
mhm,
Um, I'm comfortable with where I'm at, but I see my 18-year-old's girlfriend who has to dress to the hilt, who has to almost expose, her abdomen. It's the acceptable
mhm,
thing. Everybody is always trying to fit into the Kardashian.
Mm.
The Kardashian role model. What people don't realize is that the Kardashians have spent tons and tons of money on plastic surgery. A common person, beyond the whole family, you know, whether it be the lips, whether it be body contouring, whatever. What people don't understand is that, you know, a lot of these young girls that are trying to be role modeled by like Rihanna, by Britney Spears, by Cardi B, which is not very impressive at all. These are the role models that are being here in the States that these young girls are looking up to.
Oh, it goes beyond the States. I mean, it hits Canada, hits around the world.
Okay. So, I mean, I see, I had to leave nursing because it was very, very heartbreaking. I could no longer justify dosing these poor broken souls. A lot of these girls came in with severe trauma.
Yep.
And they wanted to lose weight. And in the offset of, you know, just sampling, they became addicted. I could no longer do it. There was tons of girls that were dying left and right, addicts that were dying left and right. And I would sit there and I would have to watch these addicts suffer and sweat and withdraw and tears just coming. And I gave up my nursing license because it was too painful. And my gut told me the money that the corporation was making, they were charging 4 years ago, $18 a dose for methadone. In one clinic, they would have 800 patients. So you add that up. And this is a huge corporation. It's Colonial Poplar. It's throughout all of the United States.
Yeah.
It was more about the profit. It wasn't about
the question is
about the
where
women.
it starts. It all starts with the trends.
Absolutely.
The whole thing starts with the trend, with the fashion, that you look good, you should have a body like this, you should wear these things. All of these things, they look good on the TV or on the advertisement that you see it, but it's impacted to achieve their level because not everyone is a fashion model, not everyone has a physiotherapist, not everyone can afford a diet professional and not everyone can afford a luxury diet to have that kind of body. But many ordinary people, they are ordinary people and simple. I'm not going to blame those people, those who addicted to the drugs, because it is the corporations, they advertise them. You don't make decisions, they manipulate you, they make up your mind for you, and when you are addicted to them, then you pay them to buy drugs, and it's a circle. They first they create the circle of with advertising, promotional campaigns, skinny body, and beautiful clothes, and it all makes you feel
we
good.
have a big trend of facial piercings.
Yes,
people are now you know, eyebrow rings, the lips.
I got a quick trick for anybody out there who wants to plump up their lips. You really want to plump your lips up? I got a quick trick. Grab a vacuum cleaner, take 15 seconds with the vacuum cleaner on your lips, and watch what it does. Okay, you know, this is where the ludicrous side of the fashion industry comes in, where young people are being led to believe I got to plump up my lips, I got to get Botox injections, I got to get all of this, I got to wear the latest trends in clothes, I got 50 to 100 pairs of shoes, my feet hurt in them, but it's okay to wear them. Okay, you know, like really. Okay, you know, I also, I mean, I fell very much into the fashion industry, coming from modeling, being in the high professional sector of the finance industry. You know what? If I didn't look good, I got looked down upon. So what made it different for me to walk through this was that I got to the point where, here's a prime example. One of my clients was Mercedes-Benz out in Montreal, fashion capital of Canada, where, you know, it's coming in from Paris, it's in Montreal. It takes 10 years to get out west here by the time it migrates across. But one day in particular, I walked in to see my dealer. You know, I'm there to fix their computer system, and I was wearing yellow rubber boots. So what?
Mhm.
Yellow. And this CEO says to me, he says, well, that's kind of tacky. And really?
Mhm.
And I looked at him and I said, well, would you like to join me for a coffee? We're going to walk across the street to the Tim Hortons. And, you know, by the way, your Armani suit, did you look at the back of your pants? They're all salt
Mhm.
stained. So right there, you see what happens when we get into this fashionable look. We get to nitpicking about what you look like, what your style is, what you're wearing, who you're wearing. It's not about, you know, the jeans you're wearing. It's like, who are you wearing? Are you wearing Levi's or are you wearing Jean Paul Gaultier? Okay. And
Mhm.
then the Chanel purses and all of this. And if we get into all of the little details of these big names and the people that are going behind making these clothes, making these purses, making the makeups, making all of the stuff that's taking away from you your truth, because let's face it,
Mhm.
it's not true that you've injected your face and got all the false makeup, you know, the eyelashes, the brows, the abs, you know, even men are getting body modifications done.
Mhm.
You know, they're getting splints put in to get them big pectorals because they believe that this is the image we're supposed to have, or steroids
Mhm.
to make us pump up and look us more plump. Well,
Mhm.
it's totally distorted from what
Mhm.
it is to be human. You know, and then let's look at the core of
Mhm.
this. To be human is to walk out and feel well with yourself. But now you're faced with, did I put my makeup on right? Have I got the right color of clothes? Am I in style? Is it in fashion? You know, I'm afraid if I, you know, get all of this. And what does it do to the family unit?
Mhm.
Well,
Mhm.
it breaks the
It is
family
this.
unit apart,
Mhm.
for one. It creates a financial burden for two because your little child has got to be in osh gosh begosh shoes at $70, $80 a piece that they're only going to hold on for maybe 3 months or 6 months. And then what do you do with it?
Mhm.
Now we're caught into this credit syndrome. You know, we're using our credit cards, we're buying this, we're buying that. My child's in fashion, look how cute they are. All of this, when is that really the core of who you are or who that child is?
Mhm.
No. So where's the global impact? Global impact is enormous because the
Mhm.
running shoes that you bought for your little 6-month-old child, you've either given them to somebody or in some cases thrown them in the garbage. Why?
Mhm.
Okay. Why do you have 50 pairs of shoes? Why do you have 20 pairs of suits? Why do you
Mhm.
have 30 pairs of purses, per se?
Mhm.
Because it matches the color of the sky? Or you're matching Kardashians, or you're matching the, you know, the movie stars of the world, you're matching all of the artists of the world, you're matching what Paris runway show is showing. Now it's gotten to the point where it doesn't matter if you're a male or female on the runway shows, they're dressing in all different directions. So
Mhm.
you know, a man's dressed in a skirt, the woman's dressed in a suit pants. I mean, that's fine. You want to dress
Mhm.
in a pants, you want to dress in a suit, you want to dress in a skirt, that's your prerogative. But what is it doing to impact this visual impact as we're trying to evolve into a better world through the
Mhm.
ascension, through the aspect of coming together when we're still separated by our clothing, let alone our culture? You know, I see it on the streets. I see it, you know, going around the world. I saw it and sitting on the corners of the bistros in Paris. You're watching people. You're pointing at their shoes and pointing at their pants.
Mhm.
You're not
Mhm.
looking at the person. You're looking at what they're wearing.
Mhm.
It has become so de- disconnected that it is not no longer about you as a person. It's about you, what you're wearing, what your perfume is.
Mhm.
Okay, you know what the color of your eyes. Okay, if I don't like the color of my eyes, guess what? You can get plastic lenses to change the color of your eyes.
Mhm.
It's gone so far out of proportion and out of reality that you don't know who you are anymore unless you're wearing a brand. Oh, I'm wearing Nike and I got Puma and I got this. And these corporations, like we said, has got child labor. It has got abusive conditions. They
Mhm.
go be it just, yeah. It's icky.
Yes. The most important impact of it that we don't know that who we are. I think we have lost the our own identity while while in the quest of looking better. We don't know ourselves from inside, and when we don't know our inside, then how can we be what is the purpose of our lives? What we want to be in the life. We are just our young generation, and
Yeah.
especially teenagers and in the early 20s. They're just following the trends of set by those corporations. They don't know themselves. And now I think we have discussed so many issues that it has created a cycle of destruction. First, it destroys the lives of ordinary people, simple people who just follow those trends. Then it impacts the families, their
Yeah.
families, and
I know,
also
sorry to
okay.
interject. I know for me, I have an 18-year-old son.
Mhm,
Um, they listen a lot to the black rappers who are constantly being shot up, and this is
mhm,
very aggravating to me. I won't allow it in my car. My
mhm,
son and his friends are wearing their pants
mhm.
below their buttocks with
Uh-huh.
the shorts
It is
underneath them.
also
I
it
will
is
come
also
up
a
to my
trend.
son. I will come up to
Mhm,
my son and I will pull his pants up. I'm like, you are not allowed to be anywhere near me or to see me have me see you walking like that. It's
mhm,
unacceptable. But in this culture, that's
mhm,
acceptable. That's the norm. That's
mhm.
what these young rappers and these young, the ones that are
Uh,
getting shot up, the ones that promote
influencers.
violence.
Look.
They
Absolutely.
call it
Take it to
influencers.
the extreme, and look at the
Mhm,
running shoes that came out with human blood in it.
Yeah, Nas,
mhm,
that's what I was just talking about. Little Nas
mhm,
is who that is.
You know
mhm,
what?
And
Anybody,
666.
and yeah, I'm going to call this out. Okay.
mhm,
I
Anybody
was just
that's
thinking the
listening,
same thing.
anybody that's bought in these pairs of shoes, anybody that's invested or listened to this person, you are just as evil as the person that that's making these things. That is
mhm,
absolutely an atrocity. Anybody
mhm,
that sells a product that has human blood in it to make a profit from is nothing short of being a demon. You are nothing short. You're
mhm,
not even human anymore. I'm sorry.
mhm.
I draw the line. That
I
to
believe
me
that
Okay.
is
same rapper,
disgusting.
Mhm,
I believe that same rapper had just put a sapphire in the middle of his forehead, if I'm
mhm,
correct.
mhm. Okay, getting your final thoughts on this topic because we have discussed so many issues and so many concepts and how it is impacting us. Your final thoughts.
One of the things that if I could say anything to it is
Mhm,
first off, know who you are.
mhm,
Like who am I? You
mhm,
ask me who I am, I can tell you my qualities, I can tell you my defects of character. I wear my clothing the way I want to wear for me, not for anybody. So if you cannot be yourself, ask the question, why are you trying to be somebody else that you're not?
mhm,
Your clothing is a choice, yes, of a personal taste, but it's
mhm,
also a personal responsibility. If you're buying your clothing to hold on to it for only a couple of months and throw it away, you're wasting your money for one. Two,
mhm,
you're creating a global impact of a problem that's creating a mass demand on the supply chain, and they're going to
mhm,
keep on making the garbage. So choose wisely. Be smart. Don't follow the trends.
mhm,
Why? Because this is what's in fashion. That's what you have to buy and spend your paycheck on. Does it make you a better person? No.
mhm,
I appreciate when somebody comes up to me and says, "It's nice to see you, Gary." Okay,
mhm.
rather than say, "You look
You're very
colorful
good.
today."
Yes.
You know,
Oh my.
look at me here,
Mhm,
not with what I'm wearing. If you're
mhm,
only going to look at me for what I'm wearing, then why be in my presence? To be
mhm,
honest with you, I want to share story with you. I want to share communications with you. I want us to look at better ways that are constructive to create a better
mhm,
way to look at the ways that we can correct these ongoing problems. If we keep feeding the machine is going to keep eating us. It's time to break the
Yes,
machine.
indeed.
It's time to break the molds, the dogmas, the stigmas, all of this, and stop feeding this unquestionable industry, whether it's the clothing that you wear or the personal care product that you're putting on your face. It has an impact to Gaia. It has an
It
impact
is.
to Mother Earth. And if you can't
It has. It is
correct
time
that,
to.
we're not going to have an Earth left over.
Yes,
I would
indeed.
just like
It
to
is
say
time to
something
break
really
up.
quick. Okay.
Okay, it is time to break up with fashion. Now, Judy, your final thoughts.
I think that right now we have a severe crisis going on with the youth, from what's being portrayed in the media, from their music artists, from the clothes that are being promoted, to you know, the gun violence. These young kids idolize these rappers, and they do everything they
Influencer.
can to try to stay into flow with them. And I think that the culture has a lot of these kids lost in so many ways, and a lot of these young girls who think they're overweight, they become in with severe eating disorders. They come into trying drugs to try to lose weight. I think that we have a crisis going on, all in the name of promoting products.
Yep.
And promoting junk and toxicity. And a lot of people are lost in what is being sold on the mainstream media. And until that is corrected, and until a severe intervention is done with that, you're going to continue to see these kinds of products and these kinds of ongoing crises impacting our youth.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes,
and
indeed.
people don't really have an identity. They identify by what is
Them.
portrayed to them.
Yes, they identify themselves with their influencer, and those influencers and those rappers and those people, the people they idealize, they are bought and they are promoted by the corporations.
Yeah.
At the end
Absolutely.
of it, those corporations are they create the cycle of self-destruction, of destruction
Absolutely.
of
They
the
promote it.
whole structure. Yes, they are destroying the very fabric and sanctity of the society.
They
And
are.
I think we have covered enough. We have covered enough.
Okay.
We have discussed is the social impact of it, the worst impact of it, the fashion industry or the fast fashion trends. If you have any questions or your views, if you think we have missed something, just leave it in the comment box below. I'll answer it to you. Gary would get back to you as soon as he can, or Jory would answer it to you. Thank you and have a
Thank
good day,
you.
good night, wherever
Have a
you
great
are.
night. It was great talking with you. Bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, and
Bye.
thank you, Jory. Thank you, Gary, for your time.
Thank
I
you.
know you both of
Have a
you are a
great day,
very busy
everybody.
person. Yes, have a great day, good night, wherever you are.